He is at home. He is looking down, seeing a beautiful woman. He's inquiring about her. Who is she? She's beautiful. She's lovely. Here's how we know that God is with him. Number one, David had a mission. What was he supposed to be doing? He was supposed to be expanding the kingdom of God and fighting. He was supposed to be out in war. Instead, he was where he should not have been. He was at home. God had given David a mission. Here's what I know about every single person in this room. God has given you a mission. Just like David's mission was to expand the kingdom of Israel, you know what your mission is? I hope you do. I don't know what it is. But I know that God has given you one. Every single person in here, God has a reason for your existence. He has made you a special puzzle piece, and only you can fit in this exact position that God has for you. God has a plan exactly for your life. What is your mission? What is it God has for you? What is it that God is wanting you to do? You see, God has a mission for David. And if David would have been doing what he was supposed to be doing, if David would have been on his mission, you know what would have been really, really easy to avoid? This temptation. He wouldn't have even been at the palace to look out and see a hot chick. He wouldn't have even been there. He would have been out in the field where he should have been fighting with God's army. But instead, he was where he should have been, at home, and so the temptation was really, really difficult. Many of you end up going to places and putting yourself in situations where you know there's going to be temptation. It's stupid. Bottom line, it's stupid. You end up going to a party, you know there's going to be underage drinking, you know there's going to be stuff that you don't need to be involved in at this party, but you're like, you know, this time's going to be different, and I'm not going to do that stuff. I'm just going to go hang out. I'm stupid. You know, like, Don't even put yourself in that situation. Why would you just knowingly walk into temptation? You know there's going to be bad stuff there. You know this group of friends always ends up getting into trouble, but you just don't hang out with them anyway. When you are on the mission that God has for you, you end up being at the right place at the right time. On the other side, when you are not on the mission that God has for you, you end up being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Who in here has ever been in trouble because you were at the wrong place at the wrong time? God, I mean, if I had, like, you know, I need to, like, pull up both hands and legs, and, you know, like, I have been in trouble so many times for being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And if you would just be on the mission that God has for you, you wouldn't be at the wrong place at the wrong time. You would be at the right place at the right time. We know that God is with David during his temptation because God has given him a mission. What is God's mission for you? God's got a mission for you. He wants you to be doing something. What is it? I can't answer that for you. Here's another reason that we know that God is with David during the time of his temptation. He's got a godly friend who's trying to help him. You remember that dude? It's like, you know, it is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah. Hey, David, king, I understand you're king here, but this is some other dude's wife. You know, you probably don't want to, you know, he's got a godly friend who's trying to help him and steer him in the right direction. You know what you got to have? If you come here on a regular basis, you have a small group leader. That small group leader, your small group leaders are amazing. I met with them before I came to talk to you guys tonight. They're amazing. They love you. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to help guide you. They're going to give you godly advice. Here's what I know. That if you ignore the mission that God has for you, like David is doing right now, if you ignore good and godly counsel, like David is doing right now, the temptation to sin will be too great. And you will cross that line from temptation into sin every time. If you ignore the mission God has for you and you ignore good godly counsel. Temptation, here's how temptation usually plays itself out, okay? let's say you were to leave here and you walk out to the parking lot, okay, and there is a drug dealer standing there, okay, just apparently a drug dealer, okay, he's just standing there, his shirt says drug dealer from it, right? You know that's it. And he walks up to you and, hi, I'm a drug dealer, and you go, hi, drug dealer, and he goes, would you like to buy some black tar heroin? And you go, no thanks, bro, all right? Sin is usually not that blatant, okay? It's usually not a dude that says drug dealer on his shirt, okay? Sin is usually not that blatant. Here's how temptation works. It's slow. It's sneaky. It creeps up on you, and before you know it, because you have ignored the mission, just like David ignored the mission, and you've ignored good godly counsel, you find yourself in temptation. You find yourself in sin. It's slow. It's sneaky. And we need to be about God's mission, and we need to be about good godly counsel. All right? Let's see what happens next. So David sent messengers and took her, and she came to him, and he lay with her. Okay, that's weird. Now, she having purified herself from her uncleanness, we're high schoolers, and it means she just got done with period. Then she returned to her house, and the woman conceived, and she sent and told David, I am pregnant. David ignored his mission. David ignored what God had told him to do. And what happened? He was tempted. David ignored good godly counsel. And what happened? He moved from an area of being tempted into the area, and now David has sinned. He saw a hot lady, he asked who she was, he shouldn't even been in the palace, he saw a hot lady, asked who she was, some dude was like, hey man, that's somebody's wife, and he was like, I don't care, bring her to me. They brought her to the palace, and he slept with her. He has committed this sin, now she's pregnant. David is in a world of pain. Why? Because he was supposed to be this good, godly, counselor, ruler of, the entire land of Israel, and now he has slept with this other dude's wife, and she's pregnant, and everybody's going to find out, and they're going to kill her and remove him from his kingship. That's what's going to happen. So what does David do? David does what so many of us do when we cross the line from temptation into sin. He just keeps on going with it. He just keeps on going. Here's what he does. He calls the husband. Dude's name's Uriah. Uriah comes home. All right, where is the army? They're really, really far away. They're sleeping in the field. They're sleeping in tents. And David calls Uriah home. Okay, so here's David's intent. He's trying to cover this thing up. So there's Uriah. He's been off at war for a long time. All right, he's fighting. He's battling. He's been away for a long time. If he were to come back into town and go to his house, and his wife is there, he's been gone for a long time, maybe they'll, you know what I'm saying? And then, when she comes up pregnant, it's like, hey, Uriah, good job, awesome. The only problem is Uriah. Uriah comes there, he goes and sees the king. David says, good to see you, Uriah, go home and wash your feet. And then sit in alone time with your lady. And he goes, I can't. And David's like, no, just go, you know what I'm saying? Like, go on, Uriah. It's been gone for a long time. You go see your wife, sit alone time with her, do your thing. And he's like, I can't. And David's like, why? And Uriah says, my countrymen are camped in the fields. The ark of the covenant is out in the field. They're sleeping in tents. How can I, in good conscience, go home and lay with my wife when my countrymen are fighting and dying? He refused to go home, and he slept that night outside on the doorstep of the king's home. So the next day, David finds out that he did not go home. And so David's got taken up in a high gear now. He's got this plan, and he's trying to cover this sin up. He's trying to get rid of these cross from temptation into sin, and he's trying to, and so what does he do? He has a banquet, a big banquet, so we're going to feast, and we're going to drink. And there's Uriah sitting next to David, and David's like, yeah, let's drink it up, man. And Uriah's like, all right, cool. So Uriah starts drinking up the wine, the cup gets empty, and David grabs the wine and is like, yeah, come on, let's drink up. And they're like, yeah, okay, cool. Oh, Uriah is hammered drunk. All right? So David got him out. So now he's, a little bruised up, a little loosey-goosey. He's like, all right, now you want to go on home to your lady, don't you? Go on, shoot, get on home. Uriah still refused. And that night, he slept in the same spot. He refused to go home. David had no other option in his mind